Friends, well-wishers, brothers, sisters, mums and dads, we have arrived at the very end of the WrestleMania tour. Thank you to Surfshark, thank you to MGM Casinos, the Luxor Hotel, the Aurora Bar, for all their love. You may be like, Simon, there's nobody around you. No, there's not. Sometimes we have, we'll call it technical issues, but sometimes the cards do not lay out in the way that you want them to, and that makes sense because gambling place, that was a reference, that was a pun. But listen, I'm an equal opportunist giver. Don't know what that means. It sounded sexual, didn't mean that. But some people hate the live ups and downs. So now you just get me talking to you, so those guys can be really happy. And of course, you can check out night 1 and you can check out night 2. Also, I've forgotten the name. What was the bar that we were able to watch Raw in this evening? Flanker. I want to thank Flanker, who very kindly said we could go to a watch along. They treated us super nice, gave us a bunch of drinks and a bunch of food. And they even listened, I wanted specific stuff, and they got it for me. So I wanted to shout them out as well. But we have had the Raw Ater Wrestleania, notably one of the most important Monday Night Raws. And I think given how many surprises and shocks happened, I would imagine it's done a good job. I haven't really checked social media, so I don't really know what if it's positive or negative, the opinion is. But we started off quite hot, right? Because Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins arrived, so you get excited. And then they just told us we're doing a women's tag team title rematch. Now I got excited, because if you did watch the ups and downs from the other day, I told you I think they're going to change it back on Raw. I so rarely get my predictions right. So finally I was able to feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum.
Welcome to Las Vegas. We are here courtesy of Surfshark, who are sponsoring all of our WrestleMania content. And Surfshark's VPN is brilliant. It just makes sure all your stuff stays private and secure when you're out and about online, and they even have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, but it allows you to change your virtual location to access all of your favorite content, which means you can watch all of WWE shows on Netflix, not just Raw, but SmackDown and NXT too, with no ads. And you get to see all the bonus content us Brits get to see too. Stuff like this.
With everybody saying LA Night, yeah!
Just click the link in the description and use code WhatCultureMania at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN.
When John Cena was the first guy to come out here. Now, I will accept there has been some criticism where people say, I'm watching John Cena in his public life, and he's kind of acting heelish, but he's very John Cena with his quips. Then I watch him in his wrestling life, and he comes out with a grumpy face. I agree with you, but I love grumpy face John Cena. He's almost like a cartoon character. I keep saying this, he's like a comic book superhero villain. I just never thought I'd see it, right? So maybe it's the beggars can't be choosers things. I just want to milk it for all of its worth. He gets the brand new, he's the SmackDown announcer, but he was doing Raw today, Mike Nash, to do a brand new announcement for him, which is essentially like, he's the best guy ever, you gotta love him, why don't you love him? It was awesome, it was so anti-John Cena, at least what we expect him to do. I'm just having a good time. And he's keeping his black entrance with just John Cena on the screens. I'm into it. He then really lays into the fans. Here's a few of the notes I've got. He tells us we're not worthy. He says he doesn't care if the fans cheer, which of course they were doing last night and at Raw. He will not forgive us. Relationships don't work this way. In fact, it's the definition of a dysfunctional relationship. So I felt like I was reading a column in a newspaper with me trying to find help with my partner. Fans like to hijack the Raw after WrestleMania, and fans are soft. So what the fans started doing? They started chanting, "We are sorry," which is wonderful. I guess this is why I love these kind of fans. You probably couldn't have it every single week, but I love the almost ironic nature of it. And Cena doesn't care about that because, as I wrote down, you fans are a group of idiots. And given what you have subjected me to over the last 25 years, there's nothing that you can do that would actually get to my soul. When he pointed to the screen and it came up with the number 36. That is the amount of dates he is going to have to do throughout 2025, and he started ticking them down. We did this Raw, we did Elimination Chamber, we did that SmackDown, to the point we got to 27 left. This is why it's so cool. Cena said, you tell me I can't wrestle, I don't have to wrestle, I just have to show up, insinuating he's not even going to defend the belt. He's going to run out the clock. That's what he's going to do, like he's playing gladiators. Now, I loved all of this. I had a huge smile on my face and a nice feeling in my Tootsie Toes. He then did kind of add history to the WWE Undisputed title. He talked about Bruno Sammartino, he talked about Steve Austin, I think he mentioned Shawn Michaels, Triple H, maybe Ric Flair and a bunch of others. But who he did not mention was The Rock. Please keep that under your pants. We're going to get back to that in 1 second. The fans were then being nice to John Cena. Sorry, the fans were then booing Cody Rhodes again when he mentioned his name. John Cena ran with that wonderfully. because he was all like, this is why you're fickle. This is why you're a bunch of A-hats. That man's done nothing to you, and you turn on him for no reason, and that's why you're never going to be my friend. I'm never going to do anything for you. And when he was saying this, with the most shib-eating grin on his face, Randy Orton, who I suppose was hiding under the ring, which makes him a very strange person, pops up. Cena turns around, excuse my language, but he was caught on the microphone. He says, shit. Randy Orton drops him with the RKO. As we predicted, given the poster, one last time, Randy Orton versus John Cena. Now, I did see one person say, oh, I don't want to watch it again, but the roles have been reversed. Randy will be the good guy, Cena will be the bad guy. Cena, of course, will cheat to win. And listen, I wasn't a massive fan of the Cena-Orton feud from back in the day. It just went too long for my liking. Wouldn't necessarily say it was bad overall, but I just thought we elongated it a little bit. I love this. I think it's exciting, and I think you want to play the greatest hits. I think you want to tap into nostalgia. I just love heel John Cena, and I love babyface Randy Orton. I thought this all have worked. Of course, it would have worked better if he had sort of smashed Randy Orton had smashed Kevin Owens on WrestleMania Night 2. We know what happened there. I'm absolutely giving John Cena speeching up, but you do have to give it down for the fact that now John Cena won't even say The Rock's name. Like, it's really weird because on Friday, The Rock was brought up. They both addressed it, Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Whereas here, even when you run down a list of champions, and I could be wrong, this is me speculating, so please forgive me if I am, but it certainly feels like now like we can't ever mention his name because he's not coming back, and that angle has kind of fallen into the dust. And even if it turns out to be a story point of view, and admittedly I couldn't hear all the commentary, so once again, come yell at me in the comments, I don't think Michael Cole or Pat McAfee mentioned it either. So now Dwayne The Rock Johnson doesn't exist, that part has to get it down. I think if that is the case, WWE is just gonna have to use the essence of time, like we're playing Zelda, and move as far away from it as possible. It's, my gosh, some cars are hooting. I mean, one car is just reversing down a single way road. I wouldn't do that, bro. They're driving the same car though. You don't need to know this. I'm just very intrigued by it. Luckily, nobody died. We then moved into the tag team match. I knew that Liv and Raquel were going to win these packs. This was a great match. Liv Morgan is brilliant. Raquel Rodriguez plays her role so well. We know the deal with Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. I think we need to make sure we allow her to get her personality and gimmick over more. In terms of a wrestler, she's flamming brilliant. Now, it was a big schmoz at the end. Everybody was flying over everywhere. And essentially, Raquel and Becky, I think it was, sort of fell out on the outside of the ring when Lyra got tied up with all of that. She was leaning over, so Morgan booted her, hit the Oblivion 1, 2, 3. Massive pop as you would expect it. And I knew what was going to happen given it was the Raw after WrestleMania. We were going to turn Becky Lynch heel. Now, the reason I like this is you will have heard me going on about my big high horse. I'm very boring as a human being. The Intercontinental Women's Championship needs a good feud. And if Becky and Lyra are going to do that, I don't think you want to turn Lyra heel. I think that's harder work than letting Becky do it. And at this stage of her career, I'd imagine Becky being a bad guy is just more fun. So she beats her up, she's shouting, this is your fault, this is your fault. She goes back like 3 or 4 times. And of course, because it's a moment, the fans are cheering all of this. But it's difficult because the WrestleMania crowds don't really count in terms of how other people are going to respond. Look at the John Cena stuff. I enjoyed all of it. I think, did we need to flip the belts back and forth? I think so. I think you get the moment at WrestleMania, you get the moment here, but also we have had too many long title reigns. So I'd rather it wasn't the Women's Championships we did this with, because they actually do need a bit of structure and a bit of foundation. But ultimately, I enjoyed myself. And seeing Becky Lynch with her like, oh, I'm heel now face, I'm giving it all and up. I love Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez as a tag team. I know whether they'll watch this show, they probably don't, but they are making those belts feel more important. And if WWE can actually sort of sort out the women's tag team division and hopefully bring back the Wyatt Six, I really want Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross taking on those two. I think it could be really good. So again, really, really good start to Raw. The New Day then came out. Oh man, I don't mean to skip by this because I think Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston are 2 of the GOATs, especially when it comes to teams. They basically start saying all the things you'd expect them to say. Alpha Academy interrupt. Maxine Dupree was on the microphone. I thought she was actually pretty good. She handled herself very well and says, oh, hi, you think you're the best? Well, my boys beat you, however long it was, under 60 seconds. They then called them, what do they say to make, because New Day are like, no, we're not going to fight you. They called them the Minute Men. So essentially saying that when they get in bed, I presume, I know it tied into like a sponsor, but I think New Day were mad because they were insinuating that when they're with their partners, they don't last a long time. Not sure why that would encourage you to take on a tag team title shot, but it didn't matter because before we went anywhere, the lights went all funny, and I was saying under my breath, please be who I want it to be, please be who I want it to be. It flashed across the big screens, Rusev. Very sadly, has been Death Rebelled with his theme. I couldn't really hear his theme though, so I'm not gonna pass judgment because I was in a bar with people going crazy. Obviously, New Day runs away. He destroys Alpha Academy. I wouldn't have cared if he had come out to play checkers. I wouldn't have cared if he got a microphone and said, Simon Miller, you bald idiot, I hate you. If you have watched this show somehow over the last decade, it's ridiculous, you know that Rusev / Miro is one of my favorite modern day wrestlers. I don't know what it is. I just think he's entertaining. And it feels like we're bringing him back as a killer. I'm just so pleased that he's back. I was sad that he left AEW. I don't know what the news was or the problems or the speculation. I don't care about any of that. I care about the human being. I care about my fandom. If he had re-popped up back in AEW, I would have felt the same. But this is very personal to me. I'm giving it a golden up. That's right, it doesn't just get an up. It gets the golden up. He's just one of my guys. And you will have your guys, and your friends will have their guys too, and you don't understand their guys. Like when I was a kid, I said this all the time. It's changed these days, but I still love Matt Hardy. But in the Hardy Boys, Matt Hardy was my guy. Didn't understand Jeff Hardy. Over the years, obviously, I've learned the majestic nature of Jeff. But maybe Matt still is my guy a little bit because, again, it sunk into my childhood. This was wonderful. This is when the Judgment Day got together as well, and Finn Balor says, oh, Dominic, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Do not worry, they're definitely going to break up. When Iyo Sky just came out and cut the most wonderful promo ever. She's great. It's like her direction has just been super happy and mean it. So, yeah, I can do that. The smiles, the way she jumps around. How can you not like this person? Anyway, she says he's the best, and who comes out to challenge her, or at least to say, I want to fight you, is Stephanie Vaquer from NXT. The place goes crazy, which is good, because it means she's established herself back there, and of course it works for this crowd. I did appreciate that WWE sent Adam Pearce out to say, let's do the match, because sometimes these things just happen. You're like, why are you in charge? Just go and watch it. It's absolutely fantastic. Some of the sequences, the reversals, the moves, the way the fans were into it, we should probably do this. I mean, we probably won't do it for a while. I think we did it to serve this audience, like I say. I'm just going to throw an up on it right there because about 15 minutes in, Roxanne Perez runs in. This is not Roxanne Perez's fault, but WWE has just got into such an awful habit of doing this. And I personally think the heat, as they say, would have been better put on Roxy if she had interrupted them in the first 10 seconds, because then you don't get to see them fight and it's taken away from you. Whereas here I really wanted a finish. And it's like when we talked about this as well, when we were watching it, me and the guys. It was like when we were going to do Kofi versus Seth, I believe it was, after that WrestleMania, and Sheamus and was it Rusev came out to interrupt? Whoever the flummy was, you know what I'm talking about. Cesaro, actually, at the bar. And that, I just don't like the bait and switch. I have to give the match an up. I am going to give that bit a down. At the same time, the aftermath was pretty good. Let me make sure I get all of this. Roxanne Perez interferes. Julia then comes out. She basically does a heel turn because she joins Roxanne Perez. They whip everybody's ass. When Rhea Ripley comes out, kind of to make the save, but not really, she stares off with Julia, which is a match everybody wants to see. And after they've all powdered, what does she do? She picks up the Women's Championship. She looks at Iyo Sky, and Iyo Sky looks at her, because when wrestlers want to get super serious, that's what they do. Now, Bianca Belair technically is a SmackDown guy, I think. So it would make sense why she wasn't here. But I kind of feel like we need to work her back in too. But in terms of something to do afterwards, and get the NXT nerds, the Raw nerds, and me being a nerd into it, I'm going to give that up as well. I thought that was very, very well done. And ultimately, going back to Rhea Ripley versus Iyo Sky is super interesting. Who's the babyface, who's the heel? I assume if they go at it at Backlash or maybe sooner, then Iyo Sky's reign has been longer than the relatively short time it was at WrestleMania. Do we give it back to Rhea? Is that why we had Iyo beat her? Because we thought, well, post-WrestleMania she's going to win it back? I don't know, but it's good stuff. And if all of this is kind of setting up something for Evolution as well, because the rumor has been that WWE is going to do an Evolution 2 pay-per-view, like I say, good stuff. I liked it. We then just got the best Jey Uso video package. I'm sure it's on YouTube. It'll, again, warm and fuzzy, your tum-tum, water coming out your seeing devices. There's not much to say about it, though. Like seeing Jey get his adulation and clearly being emotional taken over and redoing his entrance, wonderful. Sami Zayn finally making his return. I mean, it's great that he's healed. What would he have done if he wasn't healed on this special day? Some people have said when Jey was on the ropes, they thought Sami Zayn was going to turn heel. I never got that impression, but again, I was watching it in a bar with loud noises. Maybe I wasn't tapped in as much as I should have been. But they hug. Sami says how happy he is for him. I mean, that's it, really. He was sad to miss WrestleMania, but he's happy for his boy. He wanted to be the first one to say hello. Jimmy Uso then comes out, and that was it. We didn't set up a challenger. I have a feeling that Jey Uso is not going to be on Backlash. Again, let me know how you feel about that in the comments, but I can't be mad at it. I said this on my social media. I've said it a lot. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, which is fine. It was so surreal to see Jey Uso with that World Heavyweight Championship, because he was never a guy I ever thought, and maybe I've been preconditioned to believe. Rusev's a great example. When Rusev Day was over, he should have been put in a title match, don't have to necessarily give him the belt, but he should have had that opportunity, and we didn't do it. Because he was told, he talked about this on Chris Jericho's podcast, it was an accident, Vince McMahon told him, it was a fluke. Who cares, even if it is, go with the noise, go with the connection. Again, I know a lot of people don't want to see this from Jey Uso. I want to see how it's going to go. And it makes WWE and all pro wrestling so exciting because it means anybody could become the champion. I said it yesterday, Tozawa could become the WWE champion if there is that spark. I do think Roman Reigns has a lot to answer for. He's not said one word to Jey Uso throughout all of this. I think you could argue that's probably a little bit of a plot hole. I know Roman is tied up, but given that we had, well, apart from Heyman obviously, so I guess 3/5 of the bloodline in the ring, I just think Roman could have popped his head out, although he was involved at the end of the show. I am going to give it an up. I just love him. I just love Jey Uso. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible person. We then saw Logan Paul interview post-WrestleMania. I'll be honest with you, I wrote this sucked. I don't know what it is. I feel like he's playing pro wrestler, but I don't want to say that because I sound like an asshole, so I move on because it got way better. AJ Styles is cutting a promo. He gets interrupted by Karrion Kross. And Karrion is like, dude, you're the best of us, and you've just legitimized Logan Paul. Quite rightfully, AJ Styles is like, why you put this on my shoulders? You should go and sort it out. And that's actually what he said. Karrion, if you want to solve the problem, do it yourself. And Karrion, in true pro wrestling fashion, waited for Aj to leave, and he went, maybe I will. This stuff is great. Go check out the Karrion Kross or Killer Kross promo. He did too. If we go with this and we do it properly, I think AJ Styles will be involved in something he can sort of sink his teeth into. And Karrion Kross finally will find his place on the main roster. So yes, pumped for that. We should absolutely do it. When we just came back from the commercial break, right? There was no dive either, which is very, very crazy. And Gunther is just yelling at both commentators when he attacked Michael Cole. I was like, oh, okay. Obviously, Pat McAfee tries to make the save, and Pat McAfee, that mother hubbard, he got choked out. Now, this was a big angle. Some random people jumped by a barricade. It then turned out to be Pat McAfee's friends. This is why you need to be able to hear commentary. Well, there was no commentary, was there? Because they were being attacked. So nobody knew this was the case. But Gunther choked him out for such a long time. I mean, Pat McAfee, I think, is still selling this. If you're watching this from the future and it's 2076, I think Pat McAfee is still coughing and trying not to throw himself up. Loads of people took him to the back. We cut to another advert. He was still doing it to the point, not only did Joe Tessitore replace him on commentary, but Michael Cole went to Adam Pearce and he said, dude, they can't keep doing this. We have to be able to vocalize our frustrations without being threatened by the talent. So how the hell does this end? I assume Pat McAfee is on commentary for a while. I would guess maybe by the summer. Maybe Corey Graves is going to come back. I wouldn't mind that. I'm a big fan of Corey Graves. But the only two scenarios I can see, one of which is ridiculous, is that the commentators get together and they get Goldberg as their sort of soldier to sort them out, or maybe we're going to do something with Wade Barrett. But it has to be going somewhere. We made a very, very big deal of it. Again, we had two play-by-play guys from this point on to the rest of Raw, and we had Michael Cole walk back out to get some sympathy, and we had that chat with Adam Pearce. This could be super interesting. And I suppose it could work into the Gunther Goldberg match, which I'm a fan of. We talked about it. If it is Wade Barrett having one more go around, then why wouldn't he want to stand in? These are his guys. He's spent WrestleMania with all of them. I'm giving this an up. I think we maybe oversold the Pat McAfee sell job, but I'm into it and I'm excited about it. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental title. They have great chemistry too. Finn Balor was at ringside, and at one point there was a schmoz when Penta kind of reversed something and he threw Dominic into Finn, but it didn't really go anywhere. So we are still eking this out. Is it too long? I'll let you decide. But the big twist is that JD McDonough was another guy that returned. He pushes Penta off the top rope. Dominic hits the 619, the splash of the frogs. He gets the 1-2-3 to retain his Intercontinental title. But as I've written here, Finn Balor made a very big point, both in the ring and when Liv Morgan and Raquel joined them. So, we've got all the belts. To be like, I didn't know JD McDonough was coming back, and JD is his guy. So I have a feeling that Finn Balor, we're going to try and turn him babyface, but Dominic Mysterio keeps getting mega cheers. But I would imagine by Backlash, or maybe by what we do next, it will be Dom versus Finn. And I think I'm in. We've got to think this out, and that's down to the creative team. But I would like Finn to go back to being babyface and really push the demon and finally get that demon character right. Because when we did it before in WWE, and he's admitted this too, it wasn't done the right way. All of this was awesome. I'm going to give it an up. I'm excited about what we do with the Intercontinental title belt now, especially because someone doesn't need a rematch, or maybe he does, I don't know. Quick El Grande Americano video, so we'll carry that on soon. When we had our Seth Rollins Paul Heyman promo, at first, I was worried this was going to be disappointed. Love seeing them come together. Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins announce him as the winner of the main event. CM Punk interrupts probably within like 25 seconds. So he weren't standing on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. He's taping his fists and they just start to fight. And I was like, we have to have some sort of explanation or some kind of a twist. And going back to Punk and Rollins is good, but it is something we've done a lot. It doesn't really feel like a Raw After Mania thing. We Want Roman chance then starts. And the reason that I suppose we got to that point is because eventually Punk wants to go after Heyman. This is going to be the story for a while. That distracts him, so Seth Rollins stomps him. He's dead, right? CM Punk's funeral. Somebody give it a call. Roman Reigns then actually came out. Now, actually, there was something else first, actually, because Heyman said, we are ending WrestleMania by thinking about news to WrestleMania 32. Seth Rollins is the brand new undisputed #1 star in the industry. That's when Roman came out. And I was like, I didn't expect to see Roman. And now I actually think he's going to be around for a while, which is good because he vanished after last year's WrestleMania, and I think we need him. He spears Seth Rollins. He then also hits the Superman punch on Heyman. He's building up for a spear when WWE did their favorite thing. A man in a hood appeared. It wasn't Drew McIntyre in a hoodie, as our Joe Tesator friend once told us. It was Bron Breakker. He spears the absolute shit out of Roman Reigns, and you just hear the ground swell as people realize what's happening. It's not just going to be Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. Bron Breakker is going to be inserted into there, and they're probably going to start a group. He did something else as well. He speared the absolute crap out of Punk too, and they all stood there with their hands raised. Bron Breakker wasn't done. He spears Roman Reigns through Barricade. So that's it. It's a brand new dangerous alliance, if you understand that reference. If you don't worry. It means you were born at a much better time than I was, and you're young, and you're sort of into life. But I think an extra person has to be added to this. And as I asked, after Raw went off air, CM Punk and Roman Reigns looked at each other for ages, like super serious wrestlers. So now at Backlash, I do believe it's going to be CM Punk and Roman Reigns taking on Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins, which is a massive... I mean, I kind of think Jey Uso may not be on that show. And I guess we're going to do Randy Orton versus John Cena. This would be our other main event, which is pretty damn big. And I would imagine that a third person debuts in Paul Heyman's brand new Dangerous Alliance. That's what you should call it, the brand new Dangerous Alliance. And I think it could be Jeff Cobb. He is out of his New Japan deal. It's kind of weird because he left on Saturday, so why couldn't he have worked his finishing dates? I don't understand how that works. But that's a guy I think really could fit in there because then he could be the heavy. I don't think Bronson Reed is ready to go because he would work too, although he was feuding with Seth. So that would be a bit weird. But this was an awesome angle to end Monday Night Raw with. I am so pumped for a new group, and it makes sense because we've lost the Judgment Day, we've lost the Bloodline. WWE knows this formula works, so why not build a thing around Seth? It means eventually he can beat Jey Uso for that World Championship. They can beat Punk and Roman, because again, the third guy will be the person to screw them over. Don't do a DQ, make sure there is a 1, 2, 3. Then what you do with CM Punk, I don't know. But I'm super excited about this. You could add a couple more people if you want, because I mean, the Bloodline had 5 guys, the Judgment Day had about 42 guys, and the Bloodline 2.0 had a bunch of guys. I think this is really, really well done. I think most people do agree with this. And in terms of Bron Breakker, the sky's the limit now. I suppose if Seth wins the world title, you could go back for him with the IC title, but you don't need to. Obviously, down the line, he will turn on Seth, and he'll probably become the world champion. Maybe that's what Paul Heyman meant now. Maybe the plan, and things can change, of course, is Bron Breakker versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 42 for the championship. And we're going to go on a 12-month storyline, and it's going to be awesome. I think I'm going to give it a going up, you know. I'm breaking my own rule. I'm in Vegas, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I just thought it was so well done. And it took my expectation of, oh no, they're not going to do anything big. And they absolutely went big. So you're damn right. I'm going to give it a golden up. You should check it out if you hadn't already. And overall, it was a good Raw after WrestleMania. So some people say they didn't think the crowd was very loud. That didn't come across to me when watching it on television. So once again, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, we've done it. We've made it. I don't count the SmackDown after WrestleMania as a SmackDown after WrestleMania because you have to go through 5 days. But I think it's been a successful weekend. I know Night 2 main event was absolute chaos, but I live for chaos. I am Dr. Robotnik. As I am here, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for everyone that came out to all the live ups and downs shows. I'm sorry we couldn't do it today, but it's nice to be calm, right? We're just easing our way out of here so we can all get a good night rest and get back on with our normal lives. Before you know it, will be WrestleMania 42. And hopefully we'll be in New Orleans, we do not know. But once again, I appreciate you, my friends. Enjoy the Vegas air, even though you're only seeing it digitally. And I'll see you back in front of a green screen very soon.